Hello and welcome to the Rapid Rural Transformation Project. This is a project where I have decided to volunteer for a group of passionate people who are going to transform districts in India. And the documentary is sharing the story over the next couple of months and maybe even years of what's going on and how they're going to do this. Today's guest is Anita Bhargava. It's episode number 1, and she is the initiator of this project. Hello, Anita. Welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Great to have you. I'm really looking forward to our exciting exploration.
I'm excited too. I'm really honored that someone like you has shown an interest in the project, and that's fantastic.
Yeah. So for everyone who is listening to this episode, that's episode number 1 of the Rapid Rural Transformation documentary. How do we document a project from the start? And you have started already a couple of weeks ago. But before we go into the Rapid Rural Transformation and what it is about and how can people contribute and so on, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Anita, who are you and what is your story?
All right. I'm not going to go really back in time, but a little bit, yes. So I used to teach, after completing my education, I was teaching for quite a while. And I taught in Mumbai and I taught in Thailand. In Thailand, I could not work in a college, but because I didn't have a work visa and they were very particular about giving work visas to spouses. So I taught Japanese women English because I had to do something. I would get bored otherwise. So anyway, so I spent a lot of maybe 8 years of my life teaching, but I found that teaching was not really something that I was terribly excited about. So when we moved to New York, I did some continuing education courses from Columbia University. So I didn't do a degree. I did continuing education courses in C++. And I did those courses only because that's where the jobs were. Because I opened the newspaper, that was pre-Google days and stuff. I opened the newspaper and I said, okay, let me see where the majority of the jobs are because I really want to work. And that's why I did the course. So after completing the course, which I did find a little difficult, I was also unused to giving exams and stuff at that age. I did take up a job in a company called Century Communications. It was in Connecticut. And I found, so most of my job was related to data, and I found the entire space fascinating. And I just loved my job. Subsequently, we moved to California, and I actually joined X.com in end of 1999. And so it was like, the early days of X.com. So, one of the founding employees. And I was with them for, 4 years or so. Till 2004, actually. And I was heading the data warehousing group in X.com, which became PayPal. And it was at that time, the second largest data warehouse in the United States. So, it was a space I enjoyed very much. I had a great team. So I was heading the group, but I was not necessarily technically the best. But I had a great team. I hired a great team and we did some fantastic stuff. And it's been, a great experience for me. We moved back to India in 2004. And it was primarily because our parents were getting older. We had no siblings in India. And also, we had really great times growing up in India and stuff. So we wanted to come back and give back in some fashion to the country of our birth. So we came back with no agenda, and we decided that, look, we'll figure out what we want to do. I started a movement called Let's Do It Delhi, which was focused on sanitation. And this was really after seeing a video called Let's Do It Estonia. I was really inspired. I got in touch with them and they were very welcoming. And I said, I'm going to do this in Delhi, and they were delighted. But anyway, and I had a great response from the people. I had over 50,000 people involved in this movement, and it had no bank account or anything. But I found that it was very difficult to just have a movement and make systemic changes in sanitation or anything else that you want. And then I became a pro bono consultant to the Municipal Commissioner of Delhi. So because during this movement, one of my mottos was blame no one and inspire everyone. So I was not trying to say that the politicians are bad, the bureaucrats are bad, or the people are bad. I was like, we're all to blame and we need to fix it. I became a pro bono consultant to the Municipal Commissioner of Delhi, and we did some great stuff together, but it was not scaled. And I thought that maybe it would be a good idea to become a chief of staff. I couldn't stand for elections because I'm a US citizen, so I can't even vote in India. But I did become chief of staff to a politician, thinking that if a politician and the people are together, we can actually make systemic change happen. There again, scaling was an issue because of various things like revenues of the city and stuff. Some of the contracts had to be canceled, so those were the issues. Anyway, in the meanwhile, one of the things we figured in this process was that there are a lot of good bureaucrats, good leaders who want to do systemic changes for the positive and things, and they don't have very good teams. So I was part of, so I helped found a program called IIC, which is International Innovation Corps with University of Chicago, where bureaucrats submitted projects and young people as a first job, as a full-time job, not as interns or something. They were paid really well because corporate sponsored them and sponsored this program, and they worked with the bureaucrat to produce outcomes. The program's still running, but I'm not associated with it because I was looking to do something else, really. So we were in Delhi at this point in time, and I really thought that I need to work on using one constituency of Delhi as a laboratory and try and transform that, by enabling world-class solutions to come to that constituency. I was still in the conceptualizing and, part of the plan when we actually moved to Mumbai, and that got, obviously it was not going to happen in Delhi then, because I'm now living in Mumbai, and we moved 3 months ago. So when Sanjay took the position of country director for Starlink, I really got thinking about how electricity and broadband can be an enabler for transformation, and in particular, rural transformation, because that's like infrastructure. It's like electricity, broadband, roads. Today in 2021 should be a given, right? So that's when I started thinking really hard about how one could rapidly transform districts of India, where the leadership is really keen on rapid transformation. So that's the background.
Before we go into the next steps, can you just explain what a district is for the foreigners who have no idea about how the structure in India works?
Okay, so India is divided into roughly 750 districts. So it's pretty large. It consists of, it's a geographic area, and one member of parliament would have several districts under him or her.
What is your main passion?
My main passion is transformation, and really rapid transformation, because, India has made a lot of progress in many fronts. But there are many, many areas where we to make really rapid progress because, the cost of delay is very high, large.
Yeah. So you have started this rapid rural transformation project a couple of weeks ago almost.
Absolutely.
And you do this with a lot of volunteers and you ask for help and so on. So let's go a little bit more into what it is about. So what is rapid rural transformation about for people who have never heard about it?
So first of all, what is transformation? Rapid, everyone understands it's quick. Transformation is not incremental change. It's really making a dramatic difference. There are really 4 stakeholders in this project, right? So who are the stakeholders? The first is the district. We are looking for a district or districts where the leadership wants rapid transformation, okay? And the leaders of that district have the political backing that they need. So for example, if you have a member of legislative assembly, he's backed by the member of parliament or the chief minister, etc. Because if we don't have that kind of backing, then given how India works, it's going to be a failure. The project is going to be a failure. So that's the first thing. You have a district. The next stakeholders are the solution providers. Now, solution providers could be world-class companies. They could be startups. They could be local entrepreneurs. They could be NGOs. But basically, providers who have good solutions that can help change people's lives in these districts. The next is coordinators. So the coordinators and the volunteers are all pro bono. So, this is a project. We don't have a bank account. We can't give money. We can't take money. We're not registered in any way. What differentiates a coordinator from a volunteer is just that a coordinator is able to put in 20 plus hours a week on this. And, no one's monitoring the time as such, but it's like in good faith. And these could be residents of any country. They don't have to be residents of India. So the volunteers are able to put in only 5 plus hours a week. You could have coordinators and volunteers who are domain experts or geography volunteers and coordinators. So the domain experts could come from anywhere. So some of the domains obviously will be education, medicine, it could be malnourishment, because our objective is really to provide jobs for all, raise the SDGs, and raise the GDP of the district. So how do you treat this district as a country and change all these parameters and collectively make things happen?
Yeah. So if I understand you right, just to go a little bit deeper, so it's about how do you transform a total district and make the life conditions for the people inside of that district better than it is today, but not just better, really transform it to something really, really big.
Yes.
And that's through working together with volunteers, solution providers, and coordinators who are supporting you and the district in the end to make this happen. And it's not really focused on smaller pieces, it's really on everything that's going on in the district, from education, from technology, from business, for everything.
How we plan to do this is really have an as-is scenario, a should-be scenario, and a transformation plan. And the transformation plan would have to be very differently written from how things usually are done in a district today. And that's one of the reasons why transformation has not happened in rural India.
Yeah, and I think that's also the opportunity where you bring, like myself, I'm a signed up volunteer for this project, and we agreed that I will do on top of the normal things I contribute as well these videos. So it's really bringing people who have different backgrounds, different understanding, and expertise in specific topics that can help a district or many districts in the future.
Yeah.
How do you reach out to people and how do you ask them to contribute?
So far, it's just been 2 LinkedIn posts. Okay. So, this is not going to be my project. It's going to be everyone's project. The only reason I'm a national coordinator is I feel passionately about it and I can put in 40 hours a week. And there is another national coordinator, Kanika, who lives in Singapore. What I am hoping will happen is, as the volunteers who already are there, like we have about 150 of them now, as they get more and more involved, right, they will reach out to people who they think will be useful for the project, right? And at any point, if we are not able to, keep people's interest alive, which is if we don't get a district or whatever, we will lose the volunteers. So this project is going to have a life of its own, which will be determined by the people in the project.
If we look at this from a global perspective, because I'm right now living in Germany, and I see a huge opportunity, not just for India and just for one district, because it's also, and that's maybe as well the shout out to everyone who is watching this, who is not connected to India right now. It's a learning opportunity of how can you bring people together who don't know each other to focus on something that's bigger than themselves, and looking at it from a perspective of, hey, there's a district, it's in India, it's maybe, for me, it's far away. I've never been in my life in India. I hope through this project I can come and visit you guys and support you as well physically. But it's really about how can we do this and how can we repeat this? It's not just how can we transform one district. Of course, that's already super good if we're getting into that, but it's as well, how do we scale this and transform a country and maybe as well the globe in the future in doing things that are bigger than ourselves?
A very important part of this project is going to be sharing. So how do you share across districts, and how do you share and learn from other districts and other countries?
And I think talking about the innovation and rapid transformational part of that is as well, we will do mistakes. It's as well learning and sharing these mistakes, which normally is not done, as we both know, specifically not in corporation organizations, because you try to hide it. But it's okay to share this, to say, hey, we did something wrong, we tried something, and we have learned from it. So don't do this if you start this, or if you do this and that.
Absolutely.
Very, very important. What is your request to people who are watching this?
So my request to people is to get involved, okay? And wherever you live and whatever your area of passion is, because for a long time, I've really felt that people like us who are really privileged, we spend a lot of time criticizing things, saying this is wrong, etc. Here's a chance for people to get together and do something. And this is not my project. I want to repeat that. It is everybody's project, okay? So if there's someone who shares the passion, and can devote 40 plus hours and, would be the right person to be a national coordinator, we really welcome them. Similarly for states, etc. And even for getting districts, there are some volunteers who have signed up, who are going to their district collectors and their members of the parliament and saying, look, here is this project. Now I've understood it really well. Do you want to be the district, right? Because if getting the district is just going to be one or two people's job, it's like bound to fail, right? But if collectively we all say that, okay, this is a great idea, maybe it needs to be changed, because it's not like I have all the answers. It could change if that's what we think is right collectively. Then, and we all work on getting more volunteers, getting more districts, getting the right solution providers, right? I think we can do amazing stuff. And that's what I'm hoping will happen.
I'm sure it's going to happen. But I think what is important to that point is that the people who are now watching this and listening to it, it's important that you take yourself and say, I want to contribute. It's not just, hey, I'm sitting and surfing on the side, I'm just listening. It means if you say you're a volunteer, like I said, I will put the 5 hours in the week and most probably more in the future with these videos into it, because I believe in it and I see an opportunity in it. So it's not just, it sounds nice and I want to be part of it and I want to have it somewhere in my records. It's really, if you're interested in joining and doing things, that's really what we're after, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I am hoping that there are more people like you.
Can you explain a little bit already who is in and who will be in future videos?
Okay, so uh, we will have one politician, a member of parliament, who is considering submitting a district.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be also talking to Kanika Sarpal, who's another national coordinator. I think we are going to have a couple of volunteers and coordinators.
Yeah.
And we could also have a solution provider who's interviewed on this.
Yeah.
Pretty much we could talk to anyone. There's 150 people to choose from.
Yeah, and I think that's the importance, and we discussed that before we recorded. It's kind of a documentary where we say, hey, these are the people who are working with it. This is what it is about. But what we will do going forward as well, like showing what's happening. If we, as soon as we have a district, I hope that we can interview the people from the district and as well get their stories in, and as well see
Absolutely.
what's happening, what we are working on, what are the different domains that are working, and so on. So we try to get more.
Yeah, and part of this is to make people who are actually involved, like let's say the district that is the first district, to feel really proud that they're the first district that wants rapid transformation and is willing to, and the stakeholders of the district, etc. Because there's going to be a lot of people involved to make this a success. This is not an easy task, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Anita, thank you very much for today's episode. That's episode number 1, and I'm looking forward to record a lot of more. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My honor. Thank you.